Let's let the children load up. Let's let the children load up here. Give the folks an opportunity to come on in the room. Yeah. Come on in the room. Hi. See what this clock app is doing. Hello, Kay. Hi, Christina. Hi, darkness and love with the dual goddess. Well, come on. Well, come on now. Come on now. Hello, Michelle. Hey, boo. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hey. AOQ. Hey, Darcell, with your handsome self. Well, thank you. I'm currently live right now on the YT and on the Clock app for a good old Ask a Spiritualist. I have not done this in a very long time. Ask a Spiritualist. The intention of this particular session is for you all to ask questions on spirituality, my perspectives on those things, and for me to answer them, okay? I also would like to say that I do reserve the right, before we even get started, I do reserve the right to decide not to answer that question. Whatever the question is, I reserve the right. Okay? But it's my intention to answer those questions. So, what do we have? Let's go. Let's ask some questions. For those who don't know who I am or have forgot, honey, because you just haven't seen me in a long time, I am Darcellandre, holistic and esoteric teacher and psychic seer. I am here as an energy, what? I feel mysteries in my spirit. Mysteries? What's that? What do you mean? I'm here as an energy assistant to help you get yourself in alignment with the divine nature of yourself and of the universe. So, what questions do we have? Questions on spirituality. You can ask me questions about my spiritual practices, whatever it is that you believe. Hey, Native Ascension. Native Ascension, I was looking for you earlier. I was on earlier. I was looking for you. I was doing readings earlier. I have my Ask a Spiritualist session right now. What I can do is I can record yours and email it to you. You're in the airport, child. Oh Lord. Someone's asked, how do I cut ties and bonds? I love that. Cut ties and bonds. So there's a couple of ways for us to do this. We're here for the holistic wellness, right? We're here for the holistic perspective. So one, in the mind, you got to change your association with this individual, with this person, with this situation, whatever it is. You got to make sure that you are complete with your perspectives, with your thought, with your ideas of what the situation is. Meaning that you hate Ebony Haynes, greetings. Meaning that you have to accept that this particular thing is not going to work out. You got to accept that this particular thing is not going to work out, and or that this particular person is the way that they are. We talked about it a little bit. I posted a video today talking about what was it? How to deal with toxic family members. right? And so in that, one of the first things you need to do is accept the person for who they are. Accept whatever position they are in, meaning that they will grow or that they won't grow. And most of the time, we have to accept that this is how they are and who they are going to continue to choose to be. And we cannot sit around and wait until they decide to get it together and change, because more often than not, they won't. That's just that. Okay? More often than not, they will not. So accept that first in your mind. Okay? In your body now. In your body, you should not be hanging around these people. Don't be engaging with these people. If this is the person you want to cut ties with, don't go and sleep with them. I had a client who asked me to do a cord cutting ceremony, and she went and slept with the man that she was doing the cord cutting ceremony for. You just worked against the work. You use your powerful womb, honey, to work against the work. It's undone at this point. So you physically should try to not engage with this person as much as possible. What about if you have children with the person? Well, if you have children with the person, then you have to, I mean, if it is exchanging children, you know, when you do the drop off, pick up, whatever, that's what that is. But you're not going out to lunch. You're not having coffee time. You're not going and chilling at their house. Everything is about the children. And that's it. So those physical boundaries have to, it has to be in place, right? Now, spiritually, of course, we have cord cutting ceremonies that you can do, where you can sever the energy between the two. But that is just energy there, right? And so that's powerful in and of itself. But your mind is the thing that you really need to conquer, because your mind is an energy generator. All right. Your brain here is like the womb of your ideas and thoughts. Okay. So it is a very powerful generator of energy. So if you keep thinking, if you can say all day long you don't want to deal with this person, but if your thoughts are still that you want to be with this person, connected to this person, so forth and so on, it's going to keep generating that energy. You have to keep cutting cords. So conquer it in the mind first, do what you can do with the body, and then do the spirit. I think that's sound advice, y'all. I think that's sound. Is that sound advice? I think that's sound. Okay, that makes sense, Aurora. So handle all things in a threefold way: the mind, the body, and then the spirit. I think this person is attacking me, though, because they won't leave me be. Book a root work consultation, because we may need to do some other things. If you go to link in my bio, you could book the root work consultation, and we could talk about some things. No problem. Let me answer this question here. Where do you feel like Black people and our spirituality is going in the future? Do you think Black Pentecostalism will soon lose its doctrine and dogma and become for free? Ooh, I love this question. Listen, AOQ, you better answer. You better ask this question now. This is a good question. I think, there's a song by Lettucey called One. And it's like, one, back to the beginning. One, life will bring you to one. I think that we are in the process of coming back to source. And I think that really is metaphorically the how do you say, the rapture. It's coming back to source. We are coming back to the root of our practices. We're coming back to the indigenous, original people's understanding of the divine and how the true nature, natural, spiritual order of things is supposed to be. So I really think that the church is on a fast decline. And that is why you have pastors who are adopting spiritual teachers' doctrines, hoodoo practitioners' doctrines. Okay? They're adopting there's one in particular. There's one in particular who is a famous pastor that follows me in all of my accounts, and is a multimillionaire and favorites my things because he believes that no one can see that you favorited it. And then you turn around and preach on what it is that I be talking about. But I don't say nothing because however the people get free, they get free. But I see ya. And so a lot of the pastors are adopting spiritual jargon because you can sense and feel the people are headed back to one. One is my song by Lettucey. Oh my God. Listen, come on, alignment. That's how you know it's true. I think Black Pentecostalism, the Black church period, is gonna have they already are awakening. People are asking too many questions. Too many people are being like, what is this? This does not make sense. And too many people are having experiences because the universe says so, because the divine says so, because this is the nature of the evolution. We're in the year 7, so a lot of that is coming to a close. We have new beginnings. So if you thought that the people was breaking into spirituality in 2020, wait till 2024. And a lot of these churches going to be turned upside down. They're going to be, having crystals and all types of stuff. Because there are churches, like if you look deep south, where they were practicing hoodoo, there were churches who definitely had their ancestors' reverence and Bibles. It's just that those churches died out because they were southern and hidden. But the people are coming to it, and you don't have any other choice because it is the natural order of things. And that's it. So what I will say to the doctrine and the dogma, one thing about supremacy is that it falls in on itself. It continues to conquer and conquer and conquer and conquer until, well, there's no one else left to conquer but itself. And so then it falls in on itself. So a lot of these doctrines and things are definitely going to collapse by way of how they have been created. Supremacy and evil always caves in on itself because there's no multiplicity that comes from the energy of lack. And evil and supremacy comes from the energy and the perspective of scarcity and lack. You must conquer as much as you can, as often as you can, as frequently, because you think that there's going to come a time where your power is in jeopardy and you won't have anything. So it's going to fall in on itself. And it is. That is an excellent question, AOQ. K. Jackson asked, let me see if there's any. Hold on. Before I get to K's question, let me just see. Well, Juanita Bynum, TD Jakes, Cindy Trim definitely know more than what's just in the Bible. You can tell by certain things they say within their sermons. Yes. Yes, they do. But I'm not going to say those people in particular. I'm going to say individuals who know the truth and don't tell the truth. Well, we have to get into the intention or behind why you are knowing truth and not teaching and telling truth. Or as the ancestor proverb, honey, in my ancestor oracle deck. By the way, if you don't have my ancestor oracle cards, what's going on here? If you don't have my ancestor oracle cards, what is going on here? Huh? The link is in my bio. This is a black queer, a black bisexual man created this spiritual product and y'all don't have it. I'm calling the LGBTQ on y'all. I'm calling them. I'm calling the LGBTQ on everybody. I'ma call them. Honey, I get some CeraVe, honey. My arms was Asha. Oh. Okay. My ancestor oracle cards, there is a saying in there that says a half truth, a proverb, excuse me. A half truth is a whole lie. And so if you get up there to the pulpit, you know, you better know darkness and love. You know the oracle card. A half truth is a whole lie. So if you go before the spirit trying to lead people with half truths, it's going to fall in on itself. There you have it. Okay. Let me look. There's too much historic information out there for people to dismiss the hypocrisy so easily. It's too much. I know it's sad the world is getting worse and worse. Okay. Wait. Yes, the born again circle is disbanding as well, especially with the black people. The Ken Copelands, Fred Price, and Ken Hagen followers. Ciao. Just do a goddess, Darcell. Yes, do a goddess. Okay. Let me answer Kay's question. Kay asks, when you are completely drained energy-wise, can you determine what's draining your energy? Also, if you can share, what practice do you do to re-energize and ground yourself? Oh, I love that question. Yes, you definitely can. One, by way of awareness. If you feel drained, that means that there's an area in your life that you are overcommitting and overextending yourself to. And so if you take a deep breath in and think about it, it's either work, it's your job, it's your family members, whatever it is, you are overgiving and overextending yourself. Okay? And so look for those. In what ways, ask yourself, in what ways am I overcommitting, overextending myself? In what ways? All right? Let's look for that. Also, the ways in which that I re-energize myself. For me, when the clock strikes a certain time, I am unreachable. When the clock strikes a certain time, I am unreachable. I have a firm boundary. You're not getting an email response from me. You're just not going to get it. There's only certain people that can reach out to me at that time. And guess what? It's probably my mama. She may be the only person who will get through. Everyone else will be sent to voicemail automatically. So I have a firm boundary as to when I rest. Okay? And so in that rest time, one, I make sure, because a lot of the good thing about holistic wellness is that even spirituality, even as a broad term, you should be practicing something that is preventative, right? So there are preventative measures to take before you get to the point of being drained. One, my daily spiritual practice is strong. I'll go to sleep on time, so I wake up on time. I have prayers that I say to my Ori. I have prayers and songs I sing to the ancestors. I have prayers and songs I sing to the other energies that support me, right? I have that spiritual practice. I have my tea that I drink in the rising. I drink tangerine, sweet tangerine tea, okay, with a little white mocha creamer from Starbucks. And that's my me time. I'm listening to some inspirational messages, or I do my meditation, but whatever it is, that's my time to take care of me in the rising, to get myself in alignment, get my energy together so that I have the endurance to deal with whatever I come across later on in that day, right? So preventative, right? Other ways that I take care of my energy or re-energize myself is making sure that I'm eating good food. I make sure that I take a shower. Showers for me, water, showers rejuvenate me. So I get into the shower, or I will go outside. Double air sign in my moon and rising. I will go outside and be in nature and get some fresh air, some fresh, cool breeze. And that rejuvenates me. I got my list of TV shows that I watch. I cut off my work brain and I cut on my relaxed brain. I don't want to talk about the depths of spirituality when I'm at my rest time. I'm not trying to talk about the patriarchy and spirituality while I'm in my rest time. I don't want to give you a reading while I'm in my rest time. Firm boundaries, because I was an individual that overgave, that overcommitted, that over-excused. You re-energize yourself by taking care of your Ori. You take care of your Ori by taking care of yourself, by doing things that make you feel good and that are good for you. All right? So that's what I'd say. Yeah, that Capricorn in you, y'all stay doing too much. My mother's a Capricorn, so I'll be having to windmill her. I'm like, Mom, have a seat. Okay, thank you. Someone asked, can you explain Mother God? Okay, so this must be a reference to the video I made. Well, it's very simple. Very simple. The belief that God is a masculine energy alone is patriarchal and supremacist and not in alignment with indigenous cultures and African history. Documented religious practices for 200,000 years, God was a mother. You will find in indigenous cultures the story of the cosmic egg. You will find in these stories, in the indigenous cultures, all of these different names for a mother God. And if we think about the feminine, you have divine femininity and divine masculinity. Divine masculinity is only divine femininity in motion. Divine masculinity is to do. Divine femininity is to be. Divine masculinity is only divine feminine energy in motion. Okay? The womb, you see, let's even think about the scientific understandings of the origins of the universe. They focus so much on the Big Bang, right? That spark. But there had to be a certain condition that the environment was in order for that spark to be. A womb incubates and generates. A womb creates the perfect balanced environment for a baby to develop and grow and expand. The baby then comes out, but the baby is only able to grow because of the conditions of the womb, i.e. the universe. The darkness, the cosmic womb, had the perfect conditions for that spark, for that bang. It is always the feminine first, and then it is the masculine. It is always existence, and then it is action. Even when the podcast bros get on here talking about you're so emotional, you're not logical enough. Well, this lets me know that they know very little about brain science, about the structure of the brain, that they haven't read any other book besides Kevin Samuels's TikTok captions. You haven't read anything else. Because if you did, you would know that emotion births logic. If you didn't sense or feel that there was a problem, you wouldn't have the urgency to create a solution for it. Emotion is the foundation of logic. Emotion births logic. You feel it first, interpret the feeling, and then you move forward with the action. So I would have questions with any practice of any kind that centers men or a male as a creator. I have questions. I don't care how ancient it is. I don't care where you said it came from. I don't care how many people do it. I have questions. Go into any culture, any practice, and ask, where are the women? And that will let you know how the condition is of that culture. Go in and ask, where are the women? And that will let you know how much longer that culture will last. And that's the facts. That's the facts. So who is God the Mother? The cosmic womb. That's who God the Mother is. The originator. Everyone in the womb starts off as female. The men's organs, the phallus and the testes. The testes is nothing but the ovaries on the outside. It's inverted. But we all start off female in the womb. But I'll save the rest of that conversation for what? My divine masculinity and femininity class. Okay. Let me see what y'all talking about here. The belief that God alone is Father has truly helped to destroy the world and cause dysfunction. It's amazing to me that when I mention God being a woman and how women look at me crazy for saying that. Yeah, because that's called internalized misogyny. Just like Black people can have internalized racism, to where we have played a part of or operated within or been force fed a system to where we think that the way that that system operates, we have to align ourselves with it to survive. So that's why you have people on the plantations, honey, that will go and tell on you and think lowly of you. That's why you have the whole colorism thing, because it was something that was embedded, and that's what happened. And so it is turned in on itself. So it's internalized. I literally saw Christians going in on this woman for saying Mother God. All I could do was shake my head. It's sad that the patriarchal thinking has people so messed up. It does. It absolutely does. And it's a shame. It's not absurd. It's absurd for God to potentially have a womb, but it's not absurd for God to have a penis. That just lets you know, even though it's energy, it's all energy, but the energy has been labeled as the feminine and then dishonored and disrespected. And that's why these men is falling out now. Next. It's like, baby girl, how do you not believe God is woman when you're literally manifesting in the flesh? It's because it's internalized. It's internalized. Because all there is oneness, y'all. there is no separate. We'll talk about it in the class. Someone asks, Jazz asks, your thoughts on spiritualists who run back to Christianity but still doing readings, and said Jesus led them. That's interesting. Jesus led them back to their tarot cards. Hey, if that's what your spiritual journey is, and you say that's what happened, who are me? Who are me? Who am I to judge? I don't have an opinion on that. I don't have an opinion on that. There was a sister woman who was on the Clock app who I was actually close with a little bit. Nah, I'm giving it too much. We weren't really close. I was aware of her. She was aware of me. Okay. But she was a popular spiritualist. And all of a sudden I was scrolling. I hadn't seen her a while. And then she was burning all of her books. And they're ripping the pages, burning all the books, denouncing spirituality and all the wickedness. What I find interesting about that, that's exactly what the colonizers did. See, you can try the spirit by the spirit, and you can track a spirit and its patterns. It's very interesting to me that the Israelites underneath Yahweh went to destroy the altars and the spiritual figures and talismans of those people because God said so, as did the Romans, capturing the Jewish text and burning the rest of it and taking what they wanted to manipulate, as did the colonizers, in particular the Portuguese, who came, and the first thing they came after was the altars and burning and destroying. So when the same spirit appears in the form of I have been delivered, and the first thing you think you have to do is not only get rid of those texts or burn those texts, but to make it to where everybody can see it, to make a statement, an example out of it. That's a colonizer spirit. Yes, it is. That's a colonizer spirit. And most of the people who get into spirituality and then run back to the church had no leadership, no eldership, no mentors, no community to really get in. And they didn't do any healing. They didn't do any healing. They hopped from one religion to another without doing healing. And so when you don't do any healing work, which takes accountability, you carry the same trauma from practice to practice, and then you run back to the practice that makes you less accountable. Because in that practice, you had one person who died and paid it all. So you don't have to do anything but give it over to him. Oba shamadahaya, robobo ishi. Well, I thank God. And so that's what happened. That's what tends to happen. Okay? But I keep them for themselves and still pray to the mother while telling us that's not the right way. Make it make sense. I'm telling you. And it's unfortunate. I think they run back because it's easier to deal with the devil they know, the church, and they find comfort in that. They find comfort in that, and that they don't need no accountability. Jesus paid it all. It's already a set structure to follow. In spirituality, or when you are on the spiritual journey, there is no set structure. You find out that your spirituality has to be, or rather, it's private and personalized. That's what you find out. And what happens is people don't believe. They believe too much in lack and too much in fear and the possibility they could be wrong, that they don't see it through. And they rather run back. Spirituality, you do have to trust yourself. You do have to take accountability. You can't blame the devil for everything, for anything. You have to take ownership. So that's what happens. They had that church hurt and thought leaving would change something. Absolutely. When church hurt is trauma. And so you have to heal the trauma. Otherwise, you will be going, you will be in the same situation in an African traditional religion. How about that? AOQ asks, how do we conjure up that same energy, the Holy Ghost, that we used to experience in the Black Pentecostal church over into metaphysics? Sometimes I just be wanting the spiritual folks to get loose. I want to answer that in conjunction with, who was I praying to? When I was praying to Jesus and Father God, I felt energy move or comforted, and that someone was with me. Who / what were those energies? Gotcha. I want to answer these together. First, starting here. The divine knows that we were enslaved. The divine knows our linguistic limitations. The divine knows what it is that we know and what it is that we don't know, right? The divine is clear on that. The divine is not confused as to, oh, you're not calling on the ancient name of divinity, so we not coming. Yes. Yes, they are. They know what you know and know what you don't know. So it didn't matter if you was praying to Jesus, Allah, or a host of whomever. Who your soul was calling out to was the source, because there's only one. The divine understands your circumstance. The divine gets it. The divine has always gotten it. That is the reason why you could sit there and call on God, call on Jesus in the traditional church way, and things shift and move because the divine knows. The divine knows what you know and what you don't know. The divine knows the language that you know and what you don't know. So you conjure up the same Holy Ghost energy and metaphysics in the same way. Because it's the same energy. You could play your gospel music, but you know what you know. You see, the reason why we loved church, especially from the Black experience, is because of the elements of our culture we brought to it. We didn't go to church because we just loved the word. We loved looking at the scriptures and the text. No, we went to church because of the energy, not for the words, but for the passion. We went there for the energy of the music, everyone singing. I would like for you to point in the Bible to a verse where they taught or Jesus or Abraham and God spoke about harmonies and clapping on the 2 and 4. Do y'all know what verse that is? Where chord progressions were taught in the biblications. Do you know what verse that is? You're not going to find it because that's African. The energy is in the blood, our blood. So you conjure that same energy in the same way. You could sing the same songs and replace the words, and the same energy is going to come through. You could hum the same tune and the same energy is going to come through. It doesn't matter what you say. It's why you saying it. It's why you're saying it. So, Kiara, for you, the energy that you felt was the divine. It was the spirit. It was the same thing. The spirit just knows that you only know that name. But when we know better, we do better. When we know better, we do better. So that was that. It was the conviction that called that energy, that conjured up the energy. Not the words. It was the conviction. This has been stuck on my mind, especially with my mom still hearing from God, what I would say clairaudient. Yes, but I don't know how to connect those things. You see, when the colonizers did what they did when we were severed, that severing of the language and things like that, that's what it is. It's a semantics thing. She is hearing from God, but that is also clairaudient. That is the spirit, the source, the universe, whatever name you want to give it, communicating information through her hearing. You connect it by saying it's really the same thing. Now, the difference between the two is one was introduced by way of force, trauma, and with the intent to be superior. But even through the trick bag, the divine still understands. even through the trick bag, the divine still understands. And so we have got to expand our view of God, expand our view of the spirit, expand our view of the universe. Because the divine gets it, divine understands. We love the energy, Darcell. Yes, yes. I miss seeing people catch on fire and that energy just spreading over the church. You can see the same thing happen in ceremonies, in African ceremonies, where the energy passes. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. That's just like when I hear some of these prophets saying they have visions of Jesus as children. I'm like, yeah, because God knew that the God of your understanding was going to be Jesus. That's it. That's it. That's it. And me, right, Nicole. That's it. God knew that the connection you will have in your time will be the church, will be Christianity. So the spirit is able to send itself to you in a way that you can understand. If you was deep in the church Bible thumping and the spirit appeared to you as an Orisha, you would be calling it demonic and you wouldn't be able to receive the message. Right? So the different languages had nothing to do with the folk trying to build a tower to the heavens. Y'all gonna make me bust out this text. Tracy, are you gonna make me have to bust out the text? Y'all gonna make me have to bust out the text. Ooh. One thing Tracy does, you gotta watch Tracy. Tracy keeps making me bust out the text. Y'all, let's go ahead and go to the Tower of Babel. Let's go ahead and go into the Tower of Babel and let's look at this. Before I read this, let me see. I grew up in a church, experienced the Holy Spirit and spoke in tongues. I practiced, I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah. And felt the same energy. I've been in womb healing sessions, experienced the same energy. Right, Michelle? Yes. God knew that you were going to be taught. Oh, yes, we talked about that. I agree to just being source. I always view religions as different languages, practices, and connecting with source, and God isn't going to judge you for your choice of religion. That part. Girl, you know, they told us lies, lies, and more lies, lies on top of lies. Hush, Elandria. Yes, I got to reconnect that so I can start doing my sound effects. But this is the thing. I want to talk about this story just a little bit because I need for us to see exactly how ungodly this is. Now, we're in Genesis chapter 11. And get y'all other questions in the comments too. We got 15 minutes before I have to go. So get y'all other questions in the comments. Genesis 11. Now the whole world had one language and one common speech. Oneness. As people moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone and tar for mortar. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." So let's just look at that. I have yet to see what was wrong. Did y'all see where it said, "Let's come and destroy heaven"? Did y'all read that? Did y'all read where it said, "Let's come and overtake God and throw God out of heaven"? Did y'all read that? Did y'all hear that? No? I thought not. Let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches the heavens. Do y'all think that it is possible to build a tower that is so high that it crosses into the spiritual realm? No. No. With a tower that reaches to the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we'll be scattered over the face of the earth. What this is saying is, let us come together and create a direct connection to the divine so that we can make a name for ourselves, so we know who we are, so we know what to call ourselves. So let's connect to the divine. Let's build a tower in the same way that your crown chakra, the energy comes straight through. Let's build a tower that connects, reaches the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, now this is the gag here. Otherwise, meaning that if we do not, we will be separated. That was why they were connecting to the heavens in the first place. They didn't say nothing about overthrowing, destroying, and this is the only chapter that talks about it. They didn't say nothing about us trying to destroy the heavens and everything. It's not in the text. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, now I want y'all to hear this. I'm going to read this one time as the Lord, then I'm going to read it a second time as a colonizer. If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. Let me read it as a colonizer. Now put a colonizer in your mind, ready to go and destroy and conquer an African tribe and village. Here we go. If as one people, let me say it like this. But the colonizers came over to see the city and the tower the Africans were building. And the colonizers said, if as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language and sever them from their traditions, sever them from their connection to their ancestors so that they will not understand each other. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it's called Babel, because the Lord confused their language. At this point, they just took it straight out the book. You want to know what the colonizers, how they plotted? Genesis. When you read it as a colonizer, this is exactly what they did. No, y'all can't be speaking this language. So they punished the people and beat their culture from their tongues so that they will not understand each other. It's in the text. It's in the text. And then the Lord scattered them all over. But wait, y'all. Right there in chapter 11, verse 4, the whole point of building the tower was so that they would not be scattered. but you ended up scattering them. But then we get to the end, we get to Jesus' time, and it's like, we're all supposed to come together. You're supposed to love your neighbor. Everybody's supposed to be on the same page. Well, we were on the same page in Genesis 11 till you came down and separated everybody. Next question. What y'all saying down here? Now look at that, Tracy. If anything, God would have allowed them to keep building, and they would have found out they couldn't finish on their own. Come on, you better rewrite it. Tracy, rewrite the story and bless us. Okay. The Lord was a toxic parent and was truth hidden in plain sight and was woo, the math is math and is. Hey, Shantae. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hey, Shantae. That's crazy. Me and my mother just had the conversation about the true Tower of Babel and division just 45 minutes ago. What are some practices that can open me up to having very profound spiritual experiences? I want to see some angels or ancestors or orishas or something, or start dreaming more. Hey, yo, Q. We're not doing this to have fun. You said, I want to see the angels. I want to have a powerful experience. Honestly, it's your spiritual practice. It's your meditation. Get more consistent and dive into your meditation. And you're going to see that those types of things start to manifest. But we do the practices for the spiritual growth, not necessarily for the profound experiences. And there, look, I want to have fun. You see, and there you go. And that's the problem now. That's the problem now. Okay. Michelle says shrooms. Well, you go, you do you some. Listen, find somebody with some ayahuasca. Okay, that stuff takes you out. Get somebody else to do it. 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 I don't want to go there. I don't want my soul over there, and I'm looking at my soul like, and my soul looking back at me like, I'm looking over at the Orisha like, get somebody else to do it. I don't want to be flying across the city in my spirit. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. Find somebody else to do it. Okay, have your fun. Lori said, be careful what you ask for. I did a 7-day chakra meditation starting from root to crown. On the 7th day, I experienced damn near all the clairs. And you fell out. Travel is everything in the cosmos. I've had those experiences, but that's, get somebody else to do it. Let me tell you, the first time I astral projected, let me tell you something. Man, I was in meditation and I was practicing at this because you practice, to start to see your body come up without moving your body, so forth and so on. Anyway, I got to the point where I could sit up, and I kept doing it. And I got to the point where I stood up. I stood up and I looked over and saw myself laying there, freaked out, and got stuck in sleep paralysis. Get somebody else to do it. I only got the sleep paralysis because I freaked out. I'm clear on that. But it's that's a thing, That's a thing. That's get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. Let me scroll. There's a question on here. Jazz said, clear audience alone about scared the hell out of me when it first started. I agree. Get somebody else to do it. God, it's. I mean, and people, and also let me say this: practicing and becoming, what's the word I'm looking for? Skilled at astral travel. You got it, boo. That's just not my expertise. Talk to somebody else. That's just not my expertise. It's nothing wrong with it, but that is a very powerful thing, and people do it all the time. And hey, that's just not my expertise. That's not me. I wonder what spiritual growth looks like when we pass. Are they still practicing certain things? I'm telling you, the spiritual realm is so diverse. It's so much stuff that could be, that is happening, that it's just so diverse. Because you have to understand that when you transition, you are back into, you are just Ori. You are soul. Watch the movie Soul, the Disney movie, and watch it bless you. Watch you be like, it's a very it has it all in there. Honestly, it has it all in there. Isn't it good, Tracy? I think I had I mean, several things knocked my head off because it's so much to fathom. Like the fact that your soul can be doing multiple things at once. Your soul could be checking up on your children and doing this other experience. I've had people tell me that if they had dreams about this family, but they were like an ancestor that was watching over their family, did divination on it, come to find out that that was their family in their previous life. And they are ancestor checking on their family and helping them out when they dream. It's a lot that could be happening, y'all. I will never, never, ever forget. Yes, Jazz. Yes. Yes. I will never forget that one time, and y'all probably have heard me tell this story, but I'm going to tell you it again. Some of y'all might have been on that live. I was on a live with a woman. I think her name was Melanin Goddess. I think that was her username on TikTok. And I was doing a reading for her. All of a sudden, I saw this little boy, little cute black boy. He was in like a cadet blue kind of outfit. And I was looking at him and I asked her, I said, did you have a son or a little brother or a little boy in your life that passed away? She had no clue. I said, well, either you don't know, girl, or you lying to me, or I am in psychosis. But there is a little boy. And I could see his energy running around playing. And I was finna be like, see, this is why I don't do this. This is why. I was like, there is a little boy here, okay? And so I stopped trying to ask her and I asked him. And he told me that first of all, he looked like he was from like the 30s. He told me that he died on a train crash. He loved trains so much, he got on the wrong train. His mom ended up not getting on the train at all. He got on the wrong cart because his mom was looking for him and didn't know where he went. But his mother didn't get on the cart. He got on the train, and that train ended up crashing, and he died in the train crash. And his mother had to get him out because they refused to look at him. Very sad. I was crying. I was like, this is too much. And then he said, now it is his job. In the spirit, he goes and helps people. He sits with people who are getting ready to get in car crashes, and he helps them to survive the car crashes, and or he helps escort their soul after if they didn't make it. The sister woman said, oh my God, last year I was in a horrible car crash, and they have no understanding as to why I made it. My car was completely crushed. They said there's no way I should have survived that car crash. And I got the Carfax. Somebody screen recorded that reading. So I got the Carfax. So that's what I'm saying. The spiritual realm is so diverse. But one thing it is full of choices. And so that was his thing. And I'm sitting here like, why is he still in little boy form? Why is he not in a soul form? Like, why is he still, I don't know. That's what he chose. And so that's what he's going to do until he get tired. And mind you, he looked like he was from the 30s. Mm-hmm. Tracy said, my mama turned that movie off as soon as she saw the spirit standing in line. Okay, bye. Not the mother was scared she died and went to hell. I just saw that. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Lori said, damn, let me get back to my meditation practice so I can talk to spirit. Yeah, I was shook. That blew my mind. I had several experiences that shattered my reality. Several spiritual experiences where I said, okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. Whole reality shattered. Very much so. I thought it was like this, and it was nothing like that. First reality shattering thing was not really ghost. I had those experiences. It was when I was hearing someone's ancestor speak to me for the first time. That shattered my reality because that was not supposed to be a thing like that. The second time my reality was shattered was when I was doing a reading, and I had a visualization of Oshun before I knew who or what a Oshun was. And all of her iconography, that shattered my brain because that stuff is not supposed to be real. At that time, I said, this is not supposed to be real. Then it was that in particular that shattered. I was like, what? That shattered my perspective of the spirit. Darcell, what are some signs of spiritual psychosis? Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things is when we think of spiritual psychosis, it don't really need to mean that you are in a deep trance state of spiritual trance state of spirituality where your mind is gone. Sometimes it could be you believing into and playing into some hyper spiritual exaggerations and believing those. One in particular is every single thing is a sign from the spirit. It's not. When you are diving deep into everything for a spiritual thing, for a spiritual meaning, in the sense of you could be watching a movie and a bumblebee fly and you're like, B, oh my gosh, B. If you turn B to the side, it looks like glasses. This is me supposed to get my vision together. I knew that I have clairvoyance. And now you sitting around here conjuring up thoughts and things because you have decided that you have clairvoyance. Then it's like, all right now, girl. All right now, girl. You have that. Paranoia is also another sign. And hopefully I don't step on anybody's toes. But y'all ever heard of the term gang stalking? Gang stalking is when people believe that there's a secret organization that has been after them their whole lives. We got some psychosis going on. It's not that you are not special, but it's giving thriller. It's giving thriller. We have to really think about that. Why would this right? Like the CIA, yeah, if you look it up, it's gang stalking. People like, they've been gang stalking me. Every job I try to get, they shut down. For what reason? Who are these invisible people that are after you? This idea that people are after you or that something is after you all the time, it's signs of spiritual psychosis. You paranoid. That woman on the plane, that is not a real, I don't give a what y'all say, that is not a real person. Now, we could talk all day long about fake people and everything like that, but if you are walking through your life sitting there at Luby's like, I wonder if you're a real person or not. Are you a reptilian? You see the way he blinked? He's a reptilian. We're shifting here. Okay? So there's a lot of signs of psychosis, period. Spiritual psychosis is, of course, psychosis having to do with spiritually related things. Someone's always after you. You're always being overtaken by an energy. You think that energies are working with you and just not even a thing. They ain't got no origin, no name, no intention, nothing. And you're literally creating and conjuring up these things. You can typically catch somebody in spiritual psychosis and they're not well. They don't look well. They're not doing well. They're scared. They're paranoid. They're isolating themselves from everybody. And they claim that it is something spiritually going on. It's in church too. Everything is spiritual warfare. It's the devil. We got to get the devil out of you. Psychosis. You have leaned all the way into this belief that you have left reality. Is it psychosis or is it bipolar disorder? Which is nothing wrong with bipolar disorder, but it could be that. Is it the devil or is it that? Is it the demon or is it that? It can be found everywhere. Now, we ain't even going to talk about the Galactic Federation, AOQ. Don't worry about it. A lot of religious people, yeah, it's the same thing. It's the devil. And they have to pray every day for hours on hours for God to save their souls or else they're going to burn. You're in spiritual psychosis. You're not taking care of yourself. You're not well. You're in spiritual psychosis. Is it a demon or is it schizophrenia? That thing. Now, is it possible that spiritual things can occur that causes those things to happen? Yes, it is possible. Most of the time, it's not that. Most of the time, it's not that. Most of the time. I just wonder, and even, even the conversations about celebrities being in the Illuminati or it's a secret organization and they're doing sacrifices. So and so sold they soul, and now they're doing sacrifices. My question about that is, for the sister woman that is working at Ross, why do they need to know that P. Diddy and Jay-Z are meeting aliens on the mountaintop performing sacrifices? How does that help the people? That's always my question with those things. Now that you're telling me that this celebrity is really a succubus, or this celebrity has had them switch bodies, okay, what do you want me to do with that information? What do you want me to do with the fact that they done switch bodies and they're doing all of these rituals and sacrifices and things? What do you want me to do with this information, y'all? That's my question. What do you want me to do? What can be done? This is not helping me. This is instilling paranoia in me. Now I'm looking, I can't even watch a movie. I can't even be in the park without thinking somebody that's not really that person and they done hop into another body. You got to watch out. What's happening? If you strong enough to hop in my body and take my soul out, what can I do? Yes, I would definitely say so. I would definitely say so. That's considered spiritual psychosis. I would definitely say so, because you are so concerned with that you are outside of reality. Who's someone taking somebody's soul? How can you do that? How do you do that? The soul, the Ori, the soul has chosen this life to live this experience. How do you snatch that out? We're forgetting that there is a divine plan here. The soul has chosen this life experience. So how does the soul get usurped and someone replace the soul is a piece of God, of the divine. In fact, everything is a piece of the divine. So how is it that a piece of the divine usurps another piece of divine and then captures it and then steps into that divine's life? You see, we start to get into a place of psychosis. That's my thing. My question is always, how does this help? Does it help? There is a man on social media who is on a watermelon fast, and his intention is to connect with spirit. So this is my perspective on that. Fasting. Oh, the man on a watermelon fast, is that spiritual psychosis? No, that's not spiritual psychosis, because fasting is an ancient practice to where you are detoxing and cleansing the body and setting an intention for that to be a time where you are minimizing these other wants and desires for you to meditate and hear. So not necessarily, but I'm not going to say I am not going, well, I am going to say is that, it's not the watermelon that's doing it. It's the intention to say, I hope the only thing he isn't doing is eating watermelon and thinking that's going to do it. It's not. It's your meditation, it's your practice, it's that, and that's what, it's a whole thing. So if he thinks that it's the watermelon that's just going to do it, then I would say, does everyone go through psychosis when they start practicing? I wouldn't say that. I would say we're psychosis prone. I would say we're prone because sometimes things can be so, when you don't know and you don't have footing and you're not rooted and grounded in anything, you can get up in the ethers. But I think that shock, awe, curiosity, and fear can be a psychotic combination. Added with the lack of knowledge, it can become a psychotic situation, spiritually psychotic. Since you said, hold on, I work with many clients who refuse to take their mental health medicine because they believe it's an attack of the devil and not mental illness. That's why holistic wellness, it's three different dimensions here. The mind is one dimension in and of itself. The mind is one. Listen, the body is another and the spirit is another. Okay? I don't need you to be I don't need you saying affirmations hoping that it's going to make you lose weight. The stuff that's going to make you lose weight are the physical, or taking care of the physical. Don't try to address the physical with the spiritual. Deal with the physical with the physical. Deal with the spiritual with the spiritual. Deal with the things with the things, okay? Okay? And if you have an imbalance in the chemistry of your brain, then you have to do the things that support the brain. And that's that. Since you just said everything's a part of the divine, where do demons and evil play a part in oneness? I feel like people have a very skewed view of these subjects. This is a very controversial thing. It depends on what your view is of. Even if you believe that there is such a thing as right or wrong, right? If you believe that there's such a thing as evil, I will say that I have found in my life things that have occurred to me that I would have said, this is evil, this is wrong, have turned out to be necessary in one way or another. So it depends on how far you want to go in your spiritual understanding and your spiritual acceptance. But I know that everything that has happened to where I'm like, this is terrible, why would y'all do this? I have seen why that had to happen the way it happened for me to be darcellandre, holistic esoteric teacher, the one that y'all know and love. In fact, if those didn't happen, if those things did not occur, I do not believe this would have been a part of my evolution. So I think that there is always a lesson being taught. You are either teaching the lesson. Iyanla Vanzant said this. You are either teaching the lesson, experiencing the lesson, or the object in which the lesson is being taught. You are either teaching the lesson, learning the lesson, or you are either the object to which the lesson is being taught. Because I believe that every single thing that happens is a lesson that the divine would have us to learn. Now, people may disagree with me, and that is quite all right. But I find peace in that perspective, that everything, there isn't, I don't believe there is just, I don't know. I think there's a lesson in all things, the things we like and the things we don't like. Hey, Sazon. Thank you. Or Lori, I agree. Nothing is outside of source. If something is good or bad, it's subjective to who and what is experiencing that thing. Ultimately, but you get in a sticky place. It is a sensitive subject matter, because when you think about people's personal traumas, people are like, are you trying to say that it was, I want it to be whatever it is you think it is. Whatever you feel that was, you are right. I am wrong. But I will say, for me, everything that happened to me that was good or bad, God did it. You know, I think it was all necessary. I think everything is necessary in one way or the other. Even the worst of things have led to revolutionary changes. The worst of things have. And if your soul has chosen this life and this experience to learn, that means everything that has happened that hasn't killed you was necessary for the furtherance of life. And we learned this in class. If y'all not in the Patreon, go join the Patreon, because you got to watch the class. I taught on this. You know, so that's just my perspective on that. Let me tell y'all something. I do have to go. How do we join? Go to the link in the bio and you will see join the Patreon community. Even on YouTube, you will see join the Lighthouse, and you click it, it'll take you there. Okay. Also, if you would like to book a session with me, a private coaching session, if you just have questions like, Darcell, I need to talk this through. I have a personal, what is it called? I can't even think of the name. What's it called? A personal. Now that I forgot the name of my own service, it's called a personal something. What is the name of that service? A personal advice session. There we go. There's spiritual coaching session, spiritual consultations, all of that, readings, root work consultations, whatever you want. Hey, yo, Q. Hey, yo, Q. I'm trying to figure out who you are, because I feel like I know who you are, but then also I don't know. I feel like I spoke with you before, either on live or something like this before, but I don't know. I can't recall. Okay. So y'all purchase the Ancestor Oracle cards, purchase the oils. I got my conjure oils on there, and I got some new stuff that I'm about to roll out that I'm so happy about. I got some new stuff that I'm about to roll out that I am so happy about. Okay. So do that there. I'll be back on live in the Rising to do readings tomorrow. Okay. So be here. Be here. I guess I could go live on YT and on the Clock app. The Mind of Lori. Do you teach classes on how to use Oracle cards? I have a class in particular on how to use my Oracle cards. But people have been asking me to do a class on how to read and utilize those. So I am. I'm gonna do it. But there's so many classes in there, y'all. There's a smorgasbord of classes. Deja, I don't know the time, girl. I don't know when I'm gonna do it. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, girl. I'm just thinking. I just said it. Okay, Deja, hold up. And Deja stressed me out. Deja sent messages. Excuse me, when is this happening? I'm like, Deja, please. It was just a thought, Deja. It's just a thought right now, okay? Also, we have a class, though, at the end of this month on curse breaking. So you want to join that class and learn. If you're trying to figure out, listen, we're trying to break curses. I want to know if somebody throws some work on me, how do I break this stuff off of me? We have a curse breaking class. Or if you have clients and you want to learn how to do that for your clients, we have a curse breaking class. Right? Sign up for that. And there's a peace and positivity ritual that you can sign up for. It's all in the bio. Go to the bio, y'all. And it'll lead you there. AOQ, God is calling you higher. We need a time. No. Y'all, listen, y'all are not gonna corner me. Okay. She do be on me. And I be like, okay. Peace Clock app. Peace. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and go. I gotta go and do my things. I love y'all. I will see you all later. Go to the bio, sign up for the things, y'all. All right, peace.